Falcon 3.0. It's not a game about flying jets. It's a game about intelligent application of real-world tactics and skills in a harsh combat environment. It demands skill and discipline and a firm understanding of some combat axioms that have been learned the hard way over a lot of years. In the next hour, you'll be taking part in Fighter Air Combat Trainer, a series of lesson plans taught by a pro. They're designed to teach you how to maneuver your jet in a visual environment. So grab your manual and your joystick and pay attention to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Okay, we've got a pair we're engaging on the nose.
Nothing good will happen to you without detecting the bandit.
Okay, there's one to my right, one to my left. 4-0, Tally. I'm taking the guy on the left. Tally.
Bandit turns, we got to solve our problem.
Okay, looks like he's converting on us, 2-2. I got him off the left wing at 16,000. He's about 6 miles now, second left.
When you're maneuvering on a guy, you want to push him away.
Okay, heads up, 2-1, going, coming in, Jim. Taking him from the bottom. 2-1's no joy.
There is no set situation that always is the same.
Fox 2 kill on the high F-15 passing through west. Left-hand turn. 2-3, you got an F-15 on your tail.
You're in a bad spot if you're not shooting something.
Fox 2 on the F-15 in a right-hand turn, 15,000. Going for Jen.
Start thinking weapons. Start thinking shooting them and killing them.
2-1, you're cleared in. I just killed that guy. Okay, I got both on Eagles above each other. I'm on the high one, visual the F-16. Tracking, kill F-15, right turn.
Bad. Spitfires, Sabres, Thud, Eagles, some of the greatest fighters of all time. They're all here under one roof at the United States Air Force Museum just outside Dayton, Ohio. Hi, I'm Colonel Phil Hanley, United States Air Force retired. It was my privilege to fly a few of these planes. Just what is it about these great fighters that makes them seem bigger than life? Is it their performance? The fact that they're powerful and maneuverable means they can put on a great air show, but so can a Pitts S-1. The difference is that the Pitts was built for that purpose. Fighters weren't. What fighters do in air shows are nothing more than byproducts of their mission. These are instruments of war built for the single purpose of destroying enemies and their equipment. A risky business, and therein lies their mystique. Today, Pete Bonanni, who's a current F-16 IP and weapons officer, is going to talk about a family of maneuvers for 1v1 aerial combat. In today's lexicon, they're called Basic Fighter Maneuvers, or BFM. In the past, they're known as dogfighting techniques. But regardless what you call them, they're as applicable to the old Sopwith Camel that sits in that building as they are this F-16 that Pete flies for the Virginia Air Guard. They're the blocking and tackling of aerial combat. And in the fighter game, if you can't fly good BFM, you'll never amount to a hill of beans.
Hi, I'm Pete Bonanni, and I'm here to talk to you today about air combat. Air combat, as you know, is a broad subject encompassing 1 versus 1 maneuvering, to 2 versus many maneuvering, to 4 versus many, to all the air-to-ground subjects like Maverick employment, LGB employment, etc. What we're here today, though, to do is to talk about 1 versus 1 maneuvering. We're going to start with that building block and focus on 1 versus 1 maneuvering. Before we start into our subject matter, we'd like to talk about the objective of this whole academic presentation, and those objectives are contained in what we call DLOs, or Desired Learning Objectives. Okay, the Desired Learning Objectives for this presentation are 1, to be familiar with or get familiar with the terms, okay, terms and definitions of 1 versus 1 air combat. The second Desired Learning Objective is to be able to kill and survive in a 1 versus 1 scenario. A fighter pilot has one objective out there, that is to kill the enemy, destroy the enemy, and survive. So that's the second Desired Learning Objective. Okay, to get to the first learning objective, we have a lot of terms and definitions that you need to understand in order to cover 1 versus 1 maneuvering. And most of them have to do with geometry or angular relationships between aircraft. There's basically 3 different types of geometry. There's positional geometry, attack geometry, and the weapons envelope. Okay, so we're going to talk about all 3 of these. The first is positional geometry, which very specifically is the angular relationship between 2 aircraft out there in the environment. In positional geometry, you have 3: heading crossing angle or angle off, range, and aspect angle. Okay, the first of these is angle off, which we also use the term heading crossing angle to describe. As you see from this picture, we've got 2 jets with velocity vectors in space. The F-16's heading this way, and we've got the fulcrum going this way. The difference, the angular difference between their headings, measured in degrees, is what we call angle off. Okay, the second term is range. It's fairly simple also. It's just the distance between two targets. Normally fighter pilots talk in range in terms of nautical miles, okay, which is 6,000 feet. So it's outside of 6,000 feet, you talk nautical miles in tenths. Inside 6,000 feet, you talk in terms of feet. So for range, it's just, again, the straight line measurement distance between two aircraft here. The next term for positional geometry is aspect angle. To define it simply, aspect angle is a measure from the target's tail to your aircraft. So in this particular picture, the first scene, okay, from the target's tail to your jet, that's 0 aspect. If you're out in front on the nose of the Bandit, that would be 180 degrees of aspect. Out here, this is 45 degrees right aspect. Aspect is independent of heading, and that's what gets confusing to guys. It has nothing to do with aircraft heading. So this guy could be heading in any direction. At that particular instant in time, he would be at 45 degrees right aspect. The reason aspect is useful because if you know range and you know aspect, then you also know your displacement from the target, okay, which is going to be important as we're going to talk about soon. The next type of geometry we're going to talk about is attack geometry. Attack geometry is a pursuit course that you take when you start behind the Bandit and start an attack. Okay, you have 3 different options you can take as you attack a target. You can go lag pursuit, or put your nose behind the Bandit. You can go pure pursuit, put your nose on the Bandit, or you can go lead pursuit, put your nose out in front of the Bandit. Here's a Falcon scene of a lag pursuit course. As you can see, the flight path marker, or the velocity vector of the aircraft through the sky, is behind this turning Bandit. So this is a lag pursuit course. The next pursuit option is pure pursuit, and that's when you point directly at the target. Okay, if you put your flight path marker on the target or near him, okay, that's pure pursuit. And here's a Falcon scene of pure pursuit. You have the target, okay, you have your flight path marker, and they're kind of co-located right there together. So here the fighter is flying a pure pursuit course. Now, if you took that same flight path marker and drug it out in front of the target, okay, that would be lead pursuit, okay, a lead pursuit course. So what are your attack pursuit options? We started out behind the Bandit, okay, and our pursuit options were nose behind, lag, okay, nose on, pure, nose out in front, lead. And you can see what that does in terms of your heading crossing angle. If you maintain a lag pursuit course, right, you're going to maintain more or less a constant heading crossing angle. If you're pointing them all the way in, what's going to happen? You're going to end up with increasing heading crossing angle. Lead pursuit course will tend to solve your heading crossing angle problems given the fact you can maintain your nose and lead. Okay, so those are the 3 attack options. Okay, the next geometry subject we're going to talk about is weapons. There's basically 3 types of weapons, okay, that are carried by a modern fighter. Radar missiles, heat missiles, category of missiles, and we'll look at the weapons envelope. The weapons envelope is just this area around the tools and the gun, okay? Radar missiles and heat missiles will just put in one target where we can enter and be in parameters to shoot a missile, okay? That's this area here. The minimum range, if you're inside here now, you can't shoot, is called RMIN. The outside range is called RMAX, and the area in between is normally dictated by the type of missile you have and by what the target's doing. Okay, if you have like an AMRAAM or a long-range missile, it grows, and if you have a heat missile, then it would be smaller. Also, if the target's going faster, okay, that would make this particular area out front grow. It would also make this area shrink if you were behind, because now if you were shooting somewhere in the front, the missile could get there easily because the envelope would grow in the front because of his speed. But if you were trying to shoot him from behind, if he was going faster, okay, that would shrink RMAX in the rear because now the missile has to go faster to catch him. The gun is the next weapon, and the gun is different from missiles in that obviously they don't guide. They're unguided